I always say hire an artist because they are the most hardworking people I have ever met. They are so good that sometimes you're like, pull back. I feel like they are wanting to engage. And that is something that you can't teach. And I love working with artists because they see the big picture. They can understand how all the moving parts come together to create a pretty picture. You understand what the carpenters are doing. You understanding what the wardrobe team is doing, what the riggers are doing, what automation is doing. And then we understand your world. You understand what's going on over here and over there. And it all comes together for a very pretty picture. But I think that artists are really good at connecting all the dots and seeing how they can fit together to provide a pretty picture.
Welcome to Recast and Rise, the podcast for performers and creatives ready to explore what's next. You'll hear inspiring stories of artists who reinvented themselves and found new careers after the stage. Let's recast and rise.
Hello, Erika.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited for you to be here. I want to hear, obviously, about all your career aspiration, all the things that you've been doing, because you definitely have a strong operations management background.
Yes.
So we'll talk about all of that. But before, can you just tell us what you were doing as a performer?
Sure. I was born and raised in a small town in Missoula, Montana, which is very different than the Las Vegas world. But at the age of 18, I packed my suitcases and went to Vegas. I auditioned, and the first show I auditioned for, I landed at the age of 18 as a swing performer at Enter the Night, but I was understudying principal lead as well. So that was a lot to take on right away. I worked as a showgirl for many years, Tournament of Kings. I opened Midnight Fantasy. I was a Jubilee, and then I ended my career as principal lead in Guam.
Impressive. And
thank you.
And then you and I met at Love.
We did meet at Love.
Yay! Happiest show on earth.
It is. I miss it so much. I do.
And so you were a performer, and then tell us about how you transitioned out. Did that happen right away, or?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Tell us all
It was
about
a journey of the soul. It truly was. When I was performing, I was a shorty. I was always the shortest on the line. Being 5'7" and all, being in the showgirl world, I am very short. And I am not built like a ballet dancer, tall and slender. I am built more muscular. So I was always on weight notice. So we were always going through that process of stepping on the scale to keep my job. And that did a lot to me internally and emotionally. But then I was also injured. I tore my left labral. So I had a choice to make in Guam. I was not well emotionally. I was not well physically. And I had a really journey of the soul to come together and say, you know what? I love what I do, but it is not for my best self. So I had to make that choice. And it's something that I still struggle with. It's something that I'm still angry about. But I truly believe it was the best choice for me to make at that time.
Wow, thank you for acknowledging that. It is frustrating because when your career, it sounds like it stopped too soon due to the injury.
It did. I only got 10 years in. I retired at the age of 27. I had a whole career ahead of me. But psychologically and physically, my body just said no. And I had to listen to her.
Yeah. Thank you. And then
I'm not the only one.
No,
and many out there who experience this.
Yes, and it's important to acknowledge that yes, sometimes our careers end on our terms, and sometimes the body is just no, sorry, it was fun, but we're done.
We're done. And so making that transition, it was super challenging. And I was met with the uphill climb that all us performers face is what's next? Who am I without the stage? Yep. What am I without the stage? Do I bring any value to the world without the stage?
Yes.
And so that was a big, long process for me. I had to start at the basics. What am I good at? What do people tell me I'm good at? What do I enjoy? And you know what? It started with a calendar. I always grew up and my mom was so good at always about having a calendar and having all of our schedules out. And that's what I carried on. And so I was naturally inclined to go more of an administrative direction. It made sense to me. Contracts made sense to me. Numbers made sense to me. Calendars, schedules, everything made sense to me. And I said, I think I can go this way. I think this is something that might interest me. So I started dabbling, and then it just whoosh took off in a way where I was like, oh, I think the universe is trying to tell me I'm supposed to go this direction.
Yeah.
So I just followed.
And you just acknowledged that you were faced with that question, what's next? And that's exactly what this platform is for, is to empower artists to realize, okay, this is not forever. Maybe for some of artists, it is forever, not for all.
Yeah.
So what's next? Tell us about that calendar. When you say, okay, the
gosh.
calendar, and then you know, what do you mean by that? What was that thing that was suddenly like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. What are you referring to here?
I think I made myself a promise that I would stay in the arts no matter what. It's where my heart lived. I had to stay in the arts. I didn't care if it was working a gallery. I had to stay in the art. Some sort of medium had to stay with me. Okay. So that was my base. That's what I knew. I grew up in a very artsy college town with a lot of experience and a lot of opportunities for me to grow as a young artist, which I know a lot of people don't have. And so I had that invested in me. And with my mom's calendars and thinking about how I can bring in that skill and stay in the arts, I'm like, you know what? I know a lot of people who need the person that is fine with the calendars. They need a person who is fine with administrative. That actually kind of lights them up. Sticky notes, I'm all about. So I was like, okay, so let's take that and this and put it together and see if something sticks. And what I realized growing up, and especially in the nonprofit world, which I'm so fortunate to be part of again, it's truly where my heart lives in that nonprofit world. But there's a lot of experience with artists, but there is not a lot of experience with how to run a business. And so bringing those two together, I felt like I could add to the nonprofit world or add to an arts world.
Yeah, definitely. And tell us about that transition. You were an artist and then you work as an admin, as a business with businesses. And tell us about that
So
transition.
what I did was I took a time out. I needed to take a big, deep breath. And I got a job touring with a children's theater from my hometown that's nationally renowned. I traveled the United States in a little Ford Ranger pickup truck, shout out to NCT, seeing 60 different kids a week in different communities around the nation and teaching them a show from beginning to end. We audition on Monday, they're doing a show on Saturday, pack up, drive to a different town. So I was able to get back on my feet of, okay, I can teach, I can plan, I can direct, I can be a part of something bigger than just my career. And so that kind of started there. And then I was part of a summer stock theater that we did musical theater, which is my jam. I grew up doing musical theater. And so we were doing musical theater. And then I applied to become the first female artistic director there, and they saw potential in me, and truly that kind of set it off. So I became the artistic director for that nonprofit for a couple of years, bringing in artists doing musical theater in northeastern Montana. And then my husband and I were like, we can't be in Montana forever. So then we decided to move to Vegas, back to my former career. My contacts were gone. I didn't have a lot of contacts. And so what do you do when that happens? You have to start at the bottom. Then you have to start working your way up, which is where I met you, Ab. I applied as a wardrobe technician for Cirque du Soleil, and I got in because the assistant wardrobe lead was a performer, Tim, that we knew each other. So I was like, okay, I'm in. So connections, always connections.
We love
right?
Tim.
And so I was able to take that and go, okay, so I'm in here entry level. This is obviously not what I want to do for my life, but what can I do to learn? How can I work my way up? And I eventually did to become associate company manager at Humanity. And then I was brought back to bring O back on after COVID as the associate company manager for O. So starting at the bottom, working my way up through admin, volunteering, getting my name out there, getting people to recognize who I am, working with team members side by side so they can see my skill set. And then just work my way up.
Incredible. There's a lot of this that I did not know.
Thank you.
Would you say though, it's funny how a lot of people so if you're in Vegas and you leave, a lot of people come back. It's like, it's almost it's almost a joke. Like, oh, you went Vegas? Oh, you'll be back.
Always. Sometimes my husband and I revisit that, like Vegas. We're like, no, we're good. We're good. We're good. Vegas was nice. Let's leave it there at the end.
Maybe a little a cute vacation during the
Yeah,
summertime.
maybe someday.
Poolside.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's fine. But and then it was great. And then from there, I used those skill sets to come and work for Boston Lyric Opera, which is where I'm currently at right now. I was the event coordinator for them for their large galas, these fancy hoity-toity board members who we love to death, and arranging large events at Harvard for them. And then being like, okay, transitioning into an operations manager with Enchant Christmas through a contact that I knew from Cirque and that kind of thing. And then working my way up there from a manager to operations director, and then taking on HR, and then needing a big timeout because I was getting too overwhelmed, and then came back to BLO, where I am a senior office administrator for the opera. I get to listen to singing all day long. It's a fantastic organization. It's nonprofit. It's community focused, which is where my heart is. And we're able to bring opera to kiddos. We're able to bring opera to communities and really share the love of that medium.
Beautiful. All the work that you're doing. It's almost you are working for kids and now you are also involved with kids again.
Yep.
Yeah. You had many titles. What would you say to someone that, we are performers and that's,
Yep.
you are a dancer or you're an acrobat or you're this, you're that. You are an example that you can have many titles. How did you navigate to have title A to title B to title C? I understand you had different connections that helped you transition to a different role. But did you do other certifications, or what would you recommend to someone that's looking into exploring other things that are jumping from point A to point B, C, all of that?
Exactly. So going back to my first initial thought of I can bring how to run a business to an arts world, I said, you know what? I need to get my degree. So I went to school and got my business degree while I was working full time at Love, and was able to bridge that gap. And then through volunteering, through anything I could get my hands on, anybody I would volunteer under. Let me do this. Let me do props. Let me do notes. Let me do all these different things to bring them together to say, I have all these skill sets. And artists are like that. If you think about it, I love working with artists because they see the big picture. They can understand how all the moving parts come together to create a pretty picture. You understand what the carpenters are doing. You understanding what the wardrobe team is doing, what the riggers are doing, what automation is doing. And then we understand your world. You understand what's going on over here and over there. And it all comes together for a very pretty picture. But I think that artists are really good at connecting all the dots and seeing how they can fit together to provide a pretty picture.
You mentioned that you went to school while being at Love full time. If someone that is interested in doing a similar path as you, would you say that going back to school and, as an example, pursuing a degree is in your industry, that is, would you say that it's necessary or there are other ways to follow your path?
Yeah, I think it's beneficial, but not a requirement. I think people within my industry look for competency. They look for the ability to see a big picture. They look for the ability to articulate thoughts, follow through, which is really big. I always say hire an artist because they are the most hardworking people I have ever met. They are so good that sometimes you're like, pull back. I feel like they are wanting to engage. And that is something that you can't teach. And so I think within my industry and my world, a degree is not essential, but skills are.
Yep. You mentioned, you and I, we spoke and you said that work ethic is one of the strong suit performers.
100%. 100%. I always tell people if they are a former performer, work ethic is coming with them. It's just, there's no way around it. You all know how to train. You've been training since you were little. You understand the dedication. You understand what it is to give a good product. Most performers that I have met do not sit back on their laurels. They will go out and strive, and they will just go for it. And that is something, again, you cannot teach. I think it's instilled in artists. So I will always say hire a performer. Always.
Always. I agree. Let's imagine you're 27. Unfortunately, You had
Yes.
to transition. Okay, that entry happened. What part of the transition really challenged you beside the entry? Was it to your resume or do the interview or connect with people? What would you say was the most challenging for
Oh,
you?
I think, first of all, the most challenging part of it was to really get honest with myself, was to meet that grief head on. Because, like, call it what it is, it's grief. It's saying goodbye to a part of you that you weren't ready to let go of. And I really had to meet that head on. And once I came to terms with this and compartmentalize it to the future, I was really able to go, okay, this is me. And then it was fine. And then I was fine. It was easier for me to write my resume. It was easier for me to ask for people to mentor me. It was easier for me to go, this is where I want to go. This is where you are. Can you show me? After I made that peace with myself, I still struggle with it. I really do. It's something that I still struggle with, even going to see performances. I think of the what could have been, but I'm getting better at giving that part of myself a big old hug and saying, you did the best you could. And this is great where you are. And to really appreciate what I'm seeing in front of me instead of judging myself based on what I'm seeing, if that makes sense.
Yes. You worked in HR. What
Mhm.
would you say to an artist that is transitioning and has to go through the interview process to find another job that is not in the arts? Okay, we're talking more
Mhm.
about either a corporate job or more like a standard job that doesn't require
Sure.
auditioning, but going
Mhm.
through
Yeah.
the interview process.
Mhm.
What would you recommend to an artist so they can stand out during an interview process when there's maybe now like hundreds of applicants?
Sure. First of all, I wouldn't shy away from the fact that you are an artist. I don't think you should ever shy away from that. I think there are skills that are taught with being an artist that are non-transferable. So I would never shy away from saying, I'm a former artist and I'm looking for a new career path. And here's why, and here's what I can offer you. I would say to focus on, again, the things that you're interested in, the things that you're good at. For me, it was administrative. I could say, these are the things I'm really good at. These are my skills. Also, I'm going to school. Also, these are the certificates that I'm looking at. So it shows the interviewer that you are invested, that you are interested in learning and solving the problem that they're going to already ask you. Like, okay, what steps have you taken? You've already answered that by saying, these are the steps I'm taking to get to where I want to go. Also, finding a mentor. That's huge. I think for me, it was one of the most pivotal things that I ever did was asking somebody to be my mentor by saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I need you to help me.
Ask for help.
And ask for help. It's imperative. And we've all been through so much, especially finding a mentor who is a former performer. They get it. They understand it. And I was lucky to have two. So saying, I don't know what I'm doing. Help me, help me. And then they can, having their bigger world experience, help fine tune what it is that you're really trying to articulate and send it out there. And so that's what I would recommend.
Very helpful. If you could go back, would you do anything differently? Or are there any shortcuts that you would have taken and that someone that wants to kind of follow a similar path?
Of course. Growing up back in my day, like I was surrounded by amazing performers growing up. I was 18. I was so green. I had no idea what was going on. And then backstage, all these gorgeous showgirls were studying astrophysics and getting their law degree and doing all these amazing things. And here I was, just little 19-year-old self going, I went to the gym today. And if I could go back, I would say, you know what, Erika? Maybe, yes, perform because that's what you love to do. Yes, go to class because that's what you love to do. But let's invest a little bit on the side here and maybe go to school while you have all this time during the day because you're working nights and whatnot. And you're actually a lot younger than you'll ever be. So going instead of later will help you out. So if that's a direction you want to go, that's something that I wish I would have done as a younger self. But of course, I was having the time of my life at 19 years old living in Vegas. What are you going to do? But if I could go back, that's what I would tell myself.
Oh, that's so brilliant. I went to the gym today.
Yeah, that was a big deal back then, right? Now I'm like, oh, I wish I could go to the gym today.
Totally.
But
Let me ask you, you are definitely working with creative people all day, every day, and you make that conscious decision. How do you keep yourself creative in that sense?
oh man, I think by being surrounded by it, I do feel like I am being creative. I don't know if that's a cop out, but it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, I think just the simple fact of me deciding that I'm going to be involved in this world, especially getting the opportunity to work in the nonprofit world and bringing art to communities, I feel like it's feeding that part of my soul that I used to feel when I was performing. So I think that creativity is still there. Obviously, I try to get to yoga, different things like that. I am challenging myself to step back into a dance class. That's something I'm not quite ready for, but it is a challenge and it's going to happen. But I'm wanting to honor that part of myself and bring that back into the fold is a way of healing. But then also a part, to your point, like of creativity there, of allowing myself to feel that way again. So it's been really an interesting journey to be on. And I'm so fortunate to be able to say that someday I want to go to a dance class. Like someday I will. And I'm really lucky to be able to say that.
Yes, and to have a body that will allow you to do this, because to close the loop, that's a little bit why you had to step out of the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I see how this is definitely a big step. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's putting that part to rest and embrace that and go, you know what? My leg won't be up here ever again, but that's okay because that's not why I started dance in the first place. I did not start dance for my leg to be up there. I started dance because I love it. So let's go back.
Yes. So to go back to the career change, like we talked about, you were HR, operation manager, like all that sphere of work. Can you describe what you currently do, like what your day-to-day looks like? Just for someone that is interested in that role, what does that look like?
I'm a mama. My little one's a first grader and it's up in the morning with her. And then I usually catch the train. It's about an hour's commute from my house to the office, even though I live 20 minutes from Boston. Traffic, it's an hour. So I'll commute in. I'm usually at work on site from about 9 to 5, and then I'll commute home via train. And then I'm home, bedtime. And then it's bedtime for me too, because I got to get up early the next day. So I'm lucky. I've got a 9 to 5er with the opera company. We're starting production. So we're going to start into production world here soon. So things will be shifting, different gala events and whatnot. So it's not necessarily as consistent as I'd like it to be, but it is consistent for an arts job. Yeah, let's just call it is. I'm very fortunate to work in admin where it is fairly consistent and my hours aren't all over the place. I'm fortunate to have this as a parent. It's interesting working in the world that I work in. Not a lot of people in this industry are parents. So it's interesting to find those who think alike and are also parents in this world where we can get together and go, this is so hard. And then we collectively hold hands and take a deep breath and off we go. The day-to-day is a lot better than I ever anticipated it being. In my past jobs with Cirque and as operations manager, that was a little bit more challenging. I will say off hours, especially with a little one, working nights is super hard. I don't get to put her to bed. I'm not that person doing that. And that broke my heart. And then working long hours is a killer. So that's why I had to step back. I had to make that decision. I climbed the ladder. I was the highest rung on the ladder, but it wasn't good for me and my family. So we had to take a big T, and I am so happy that we did.
Yeah, sounds like you're really honored what was best for you and the family versus, okay, I climbed the ladder but you were not happy. Yeah, it doesn't always check the box. Yeah.
Yeah, and checking that box is great and fulfilling, but then it wasn't. The things that matter, my husband and my daughter, they come first.
Oh,
so we had to take a step back.
Yeah, performing at night. And then when you have children, I know exactly the feeling.
I know.
Bedtime is important. For me, yes, I do understand.
Yeah.
And it's enough to sometimes find that is sometimes enough to explore a career change.
Yeah,
It's-
100%.
Yeah.
No shame there. You got to choose what's best for your family. And those hours are hard. Those
Yeah.
hours are really hard.
Yeah. The little ones still wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, even if you
Yeah, they
went to
don't
bed.
sleep in.
What's next for you, Erika?
Oh, geez. If there was a job opportunity for a troll under a bridge right now, I would take it. No, I think I'm so solid where I am. Again, I will always stay in the arts no matter what. That's the promise I kept for myself. And we'll see where the tide takes it. I'm just riding this wave, and whatever comes to me, we'll take a look at. And whatever calls to me, we will figure out. Nothing's set in stone. There's nothing that has to be done. It's just, we're just rolling with it.
Oh, I trust that you will find what's next in time.
Oh, thanks,
In
Ab.
time.
Thank you.
What would you say to an artist that is considering transitioning into a different career?
Oh, first of all, it's a big decision. Second of all, honor that decision. Third of all, it is, again, like I've said before, the journey of the soul, where once you make that decision, you come to yourself. I would say, just go for it. Just go for it. Reach out, ask for help. There's a bazillion people out there that are willing to help you. Send me an email. I'm here to help. Whatever you need. I've been there. I understand it. I'm on the other side. Let's help each other out.
On the other side, happy and fulfilled.
Yeah.
And not under a bridge.
And not under a bridge yet.
Although you would do it, but
I would do it. Troll under a bridge sounds like an amazing job.
top of the resume right there. Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Thank you so much for today. It was very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time and spending some time with me. And I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you like the story, make sure to share it with a creative friend. Subscribe to this podcast and write a review so more people can access the tools shared on this platform. Follow me on my socials for more tips and tricks to navigate your career change. Until next time, I will see you in the next episode.